Hello, welcome to the real world of real estate. My name is Sean Policino, and today we're going to discuss why you will fail in real estate if you pay attention to Hollywood. Hollywood has you thinking that real estate is like the $1 million listing and selling sunset, and it just isn't. So watch the short intro and we will talk in just a little bit about why. Hello, welcome to the real world of real estate. My name is Sean Policino. Today we're going to be discussing how you will fail as a real estate agent if you pay attention to what Hollywood has you thinking a real estate agent looks like. And yes, I'm talking about shows like $1 Million Listing and Selling Sunset. And if you're trying to be like Josh Altman from $1 Million Listing, then I hate to tell you, he didn't get that way overnight, and he didn't get that way from being on TV. So here we're going to discuss what it looks like to be a real estate agent and why you will fail if you do it any other way. And I'm talking about basic lead generation. So there are 5 income generating activities in real estate, and I'm going to share all 5 of those with you. So my name is Sean. I'm a real estate agent. I have a real estate team. I am a real estate coach with Icon Coaching. I'm an agent with eXp Realty, and I have a team that stretches from San Diego all the way up to Northern California, and we are in several states as well. And so if you're interested in being on the team or knowing more about eXp, then just click the link below and schedule an appointment with me. My phone number is there as well. You can contact me at 818-338-8787 anytime. And if you catch us live, you can even call into the show and we'll take your call live on the air. So why will you fail as a real estate agent? And that's because most people think that when they get into real estate, business is just going to come to them. And I hate to tell you that's not how it works. Yeah, you might come across a deal here or a deal there. When I say deal, I mean maybe a neighbor is selling their home, or a family member wants to buy a home, or possibly somebody that wants to invest in real estate. And that may happen 1 or 2 times a year, but it will not be enough for you to manage the overhead and expenses that are associated with selling real estate. As a real estate agent, I've got to keep my license active. I have to be a member of the board of real estate so that I can search properties. I have to have some basic subscriptions like a CRM service, which allows me to keep in contact with my clients and keep notes and records of what each client has said to me. Otherwise, I won't remember what clients I'm supposed to follow up with and which ones I'm not. So there's expenses like driving your car around to show properties. There's expenses like business cards. And if you want to do any marketing, like printing glossy flyers to drop off to clients' houses if you're farming, like having a website. These are all expenses that we call operating expenses. Just for you to do business, you have to have these things in place, which is going to give you the ability to be a real estate agent once you've gotten your license. Now, $1 Million Listing and Selling Sunset make it look like this business, this multi-million-dollar business just comes to them automatically. And even the lines and the dealing with clients back and forth, it's all scripted. It's called a scripted reality TV show. So it's not real. It's made up scenarios where somebody's selling their $1 million property or buying $1 million property, and it's just not sustainable to think that you can cater to that level of client right from the beginning once you've gotten your real estate license. I'm here to tell you that you can actually focus on those types of clients, but you have to do it in a very deliberate way, meaning you've got to get your real estate business put into place to where it's operating and functioning, meaning you know what it looks like to close a transaction, what it looks like to take a listing and market that transaction before you can even think about listing a $10 million property per se. So in real estate, we teach you the 5 income generating activities. And that's if you're on our team or if you're one of our coaching clients, you can check out iconcoaching.com if you're interested in becoming a coaching client, or you can click the links below to schedule with me or call me to set up a meeting so we could talk to you about your real estate career and what it looks like on the team or part of the organization, which is the 78,000 EXP agents that have joined the company so far to date. We're the fastest growing real estate company. So the 5 income generating activities are lead generation, lead follow-up, going on appointments, negotiating contracts, and knowing your scripts and dialogues. That's your buyer presentation, your listing presentation, and your commercial presentation. So of course, in $1 Million Listing or Selling Sunset I love because it's all about, blonde, bombshell type women, sex symbol type women, and they're out selling real estate. And I hate to tell you, it just doesn't work that way. Just think about it. If I'm a husband and a wife buying a home, and I'm a wife looking online on Zillow or realtor.com, trying to find a home, and I end up capturing them as an agent. Am I going to want my husband dealing with this attractive blonde that's a sex symbol? Probably not. So it just isn't realistic. In my opinion, it's about activities. It's about building relationships with people. Sometimes you don't know them from the beginning. There are people you don't know and haven't met. And so you've got to learn how to build the relationships with those types of people. And then it's also people that you know in your sphere of influence. It could also look like using a specific strategy, like calling expired listings or for sale by owner listings, or using a technique like farming in a geographic farm, which is a neighborhood that you've picked. Or maybe it's farming a demographic farm, a certain occupation of people, police, fire, veterans, ambulance, teachers, healthcare workers. That's a demographic farm. So we teach you specific strategies where you're going to find business. Now, that business could look like somebody that wants to buy a first-time home buyer that wants to buy a $250,000 condo. It could be look like a move down seller that's trying to move from his $2 million property in Woodland Hills and buy something that's, a condo that requires a little less maintenance. So every scenario is a little different, and they're just more realistic. The scenarios are just real world, real people scenarios versus the ultra rich and high profile and celebrity client that you see on Selling Sunset and $1 Million Listing. Now, there are some great shows that I think you should watch, and one of them is called List It or Love It or List It. And Love It or List It is a HGTV TV show that deals with a celebrity, a celebrity host that is and they're not really celebrities, but a host that is a contractor and another host that is an agent. And the two work off each other, and the client comes into play, and it's a seller that's thinking about renovating their home or buying a new home. So the listing agent, who is the contractor, says, look, we're going to go ahead and, the agent, who is not the contractor takes those folks and goes through the property and comes up with a renovation budget and figures out what they want to change about the property and what they want to keep and what they love about the property. The listing agent at the same time takes the client out and shows them properties that have all of the features and benefits that the client the potential seller wants of in the next home. And the husband and the wife go back and forth, figuring out which is important to what features of the home are important to them. And then they round back up in the end after the renovation is complete, and the couple has to make a decision whether they want to keep the home and love it, or whether they want to list it and buy the home that the agent showed them. And to me, this is a reality TV show that is much more realistic in what we deal with as real estate agents. So if you're considering getting your real estate license, you want to look at reality, what it's going to be like for you. Now, I have an agent on my team that wanted to focus on Malibu real estate and focus on high net worth individuals like what you see in the TV show listing and selling Sunset. And this gentleman was actually set up for success, to be able to be successful in this particular realm. He had a list of high net individuals that he was able to tap into. He came out of the auto industry selling Lamborghini, Ferraris, and Bugattis and all sorts of high-end cars. So he had the relationships and he had the contacts, but he went and he was down in Malibu, part of a Malibu office, and he made a run at it and went over, tried this type of lead generation for over a year. And I would call this a demographic farm, because the demographic here is the high net worth individual, business owners, celebrities, personalities, YouTube influencers, all these types of people. And yeah, I mean, he did a few pieces of business, but the bottom line was he was frustrated because he didn't have a steady flow of business. So this is a common thing that a lot of real estate agents deal with, because they're thinking about, what it looks like to be a real estate agent. They watch TV and they see what it, they're coming into real estate because they want to make the big money, right? That's not necessarily reality though. Okay, so if you come into your business and you get yourself a good CRM and you identify the key lead generation strategies you're going to use, whether it be farming or expireds or sphere of influence or networking, I can give you a list of 50 different lead generation strategies. Once you identify the strategies, and I'm saying picking 2 to 3, maybe 4, 5 at the absolute most, strategies that you're going to use in your real estate business. Once you've identified those and you focus on the 5 income generating activities, and I'll go through those with you again, that's lead generation. So that looks like you sitting down, blocking out time in your day to make outbound phone calls into your sphere of influence, to expired sellers, for sale by owner sellers, or maybe it's a farm that you're going to go door knock as well, but you're calling it. If it's door knocking, then you're going to go out and actually door knock it. That's considered lead generation as well. But you have at least 3 to 5 hours of lead generation in your schedule daily, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And if you need to make up time during the week that for some reason something came in front of that schedule, then you would schedule and use Saturday and Sunday to make up that lead generation. Lead follow-up is where the CRM comes in. That's nurturing and following up with the clients using a smart campaign, which has automated texting, automated emails that are already pre-written that are going to go out to the potential client. And all you're doing is the phone follow-up. That's lead follow-up. So if somebody says to you, yes, I'm interested in selling my home, but look, you caught me in a meeting and I'm at work, call me next week on either Tuesday or Thursday after 4 o'clock, then you have to set yourself up in the CRM to do that follow-up. You have to set the follow-up for next Tuesday or Thursday at 4 p.m. because otherwise you will forget, because you'll have all these people that you're following up with. So that's lead generation, lead follow-up. Going on appointments is the next one. If you do enough lead generation and you do the follow-up right, you will schedule appointments to help people buy a home, sell a house, or invest in real estate. So by doing the follow-up, the fortune is in the follow-up. You then get to go on appointments. Appointments are going to be giving presentations, a buyer presentation, a seller presentation, or maybe a commercial presentation. So you have to know your presentations, and that's the 5th one, which is practicing scripts and dialogues and presentation. But let's not skip over the 4th one, which is negotiating contracts. If you do lead generation right and you do lead follow-up right, you'll go on appointments and you'll negotiate contracts. And that's when you're actually getting the buyer to sign a buyer contract with you, or a listing. If you go on a listing appointment, you get the listing contract. If you go on a commercial presentation and you talk about multi-unit office compared to multi-unit retail, and you end up getting a listing in commercial, or a buyer that wants to buy a commercial property, you need to have a commercial conversation and a commercial presentation to be able to do that. But I think it's important that you do it. My single highest commission was $250,000, and that was on a commercial conversation that came out of my sphere of influence. I've had multiple $100,000 commissions that came out of either a Facebook ad or sphere of influence, that if I wasn't present to the commercial terminology and my commercial presentation, I would not have been able to successfully close those transactions. So I'll go through them again. Lead generation, lead follow-up, going on appointments, negotiating contracts, and knowing your scripts and your dialogues. What are you going to say to people? If you don't have this information, you're not going to go out and get a multi-million-dollar listing or either a $200,000 listing. You have to have a good presentation and know your scripts and dialogues and the terminology down. So regardless of what you see on $1 Million Listing or Selling Sunset, just know that you can come back to this channel, watch free video on the scripts and dialogues, the tips and tricks, the strategies, and the platforms that you use to be able to have a real estate business at a high level, generating leads, closing business. I personally close about between 35 and 45 transactions every year, making in excess of $300,000 a year, $300,000 to $500,000, depending upon how good my year is. Not to mention the real estate income I get from my real estate team, real estate coaching, and other sources. I have 8 different ways to diversify my income through EXP. If you're interested in knowing how to do that, or you just want to meet with me to talk about your real estate business, then schedule with me, private message me, call me. All my contact information is below. My number is 818-338-8787. I'm available for you anytime. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back every day, Monday through Friday. That's my goal, is a lot of content. I want to give back to the agents that are out there. That's my goal. So thank you for coming to the real world of real estate. If you like the content, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. That's how YouTube gets my content out there to other people, is by how often people like, share, and comment and subscribe to the channel. So please do that. It was great seeing you today, and we will see you tomorrow on the real world of real estate. Thanks.